I love fantasy football, and so do you. It's good times, right? It's just so stupid, right? Of all of the emotions that go through the human existence, right? There's just something about fantasy football where it's first off, you're watching grown men with a ball play a sport, right? But you're rooting for your fictitious team of those grown men running around playing a sport with a ball, right? So that's it. And also, lots of money gets exchanged. Sorry, lots of jelly beans gets exchanged in fantasy football. But oftentimes, the league that you care about the most has $0 on it. That's for me. Like the league I actually care about the most is a college league. And again, for every year, it's been $0. It's just amazing, right? But fantasy football will be around the corner. Minnesota Vikings saddling up for the 2020 NFL season. So we decided to take a look at some projections from our own galaxy brain of what the Minnesota Vikings could be this season in fantasy football. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do Dalvin, because running backs do matter in fantasy. Yeah, I don't agree with the zero running back strategy, right? Just because it's a competitive advantage if you actually get a bell cup. Whatever. So we'll do Dalvin. We'll do the wide receivers, tight ends as well, Kirk Cousins. So we'll project their stats for this season. Well, yeah, we'll get into it. So Dalvin Cook, number one. 2019. Had 250 carries, 1,135 yards, 13 touchdowns. All this is PPR scoring, by the way, which is the correct way to play fantasy football. But yeah, 53 receptions, 519 yards, 0 touchdowns. Travesty. Put up 294.4 fantasy points. As running back 6 last year, despite missing a couple games. Well, missed a game, was dinged up for a couple games, and also didn't play Week 17. 2020. We're projecting for him 1,367 yards, 15 touchdowns, 67 catches, 612 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns. Boom. 372.9 fantasy points, which would make him a running back 2. Again, we're putting the projections on where they would be in terms of stats last year. So they'd be running back 2. Christian McCaffrey just completely destroyed the running back. He destroyed the running back market. Maybe that's why they paid him $60 million a year. It's possible, right? So 2,000 yards of scrimmage for Dalvin, 18 total touchdowns. It's awesome. He's a stud, right? I think he does put together a fully healthy campaign. I think he does get a large share of the work. Madison will be worked in there a little bit. Maybe as like a flex option in an extremely deep league, but also I think Alexander Madison will be the number 1 handcuff in fantasy football next year, or at least he should be, just because of Dalvin's health history, because of the Vikings' dedication running the ball, as well as Madison's skill in his own scheme. Like he will get the work, because if Dalvin alien abduction, I don't think it would be a timeshare. I think it would be a Madison assuming the Dalvin role, Mike Boone, Amir Abdullah sprinkling in there a little bit, but I think it would be like 70% of Madison getting that work. So it's not Saquon's backup, it's not Mike Davis, Christian McCaffrey's backup, it's not Zeke's backup, Tony Pollard in Dallas. It's Alexander Madison is the numero uno handcuff in all of fantasy football. Wide receivers. So we just did 2020 projections. We didn't look at 2019 because, All right, so Adam Thielen, we have him have a nice bounce back here. Don't call it a comeback. 104 catches, 1,239 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns. He just can't get over that 6 touchdown hump. All he does is not catch touchdowns. 263.9 fantasy points, wide receiver 6 compared to last year's stats. Justin Jefferson coming in as rookie. Now, I would love if he doubled this. I could also see that. But we put him at 44 catches, 409 yards receiving, 3 touchdowns, 102.9 fantasy points, which would make him wide receiver 67. Olabisi Johnson coming in, second year, 7th round pick, 32 catches, 399 yards, 3 touchdowns, 89.9 fantasy points, which would make him wide receiver 79. To the tight ends, nice little mini breakout season for Irv Smith Jr., 54 catches, 602 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, 138.2 fantasy points, which would make him tight end 13. So that makes him a borderline tight end 1 in a 12-team league. But also, I could see him extrapolating that, especially in the touchdowns department, which would be great. Kyle Rudolph, still fantasy relevant just because of the touchdowns. 22 catches, 189 yards, 5 touchdowns, 70.9 fantasy points. Tight end 38 in PPR scoring. Yeah, I think that Rudolph would have some flex appeal in a deep standard scoring league, but PPR, probably not. Probably not. Lastly, quarterbacks. Quarterbacks don't matter in fantasy football. They just really don't. Like, if there was one position to buy low on, unless you're going to get Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, it's quarterback, right? So 2019, Cousins, 3,600, 3 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 6 picks, 31 carries, 63 yards, 1 touchdown, 250.4 fantasy points, QB 18 last year. This year, I don't expect him to blow up. I do think the Vikings will still be controlled and measured in the passing game, but I think he'll be extremely effective. I think he'll be extremely, what's the word? Don't know the word. Efficient. Nailed it. 3,804 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 4 picks, 41 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, 276.16 fantasy points, make him quarterback 12, borderline startable in a 12-team league. So that is it. That is our best dart throw projections. The Vikings 2020 fantasy relevancy and projections. All right, your thoughts. Let us know in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. You want to support the work? Pull us on the Venmo. Plus give us a follow on social media as well. But until next time, Skull, production value.